Questions for Coach Johnson?
How's practice been?
It's been good. I think having a couple days off was probably good for physically and psychologically, and I think we've gotten some stuff done.
Do you feel like you're getting healthier? Or
No, we're still beat up, but we still got 5 days, so we'll see.
You mentioned on the teleconference about possible personnel changes with the kickoff return.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something you'll...
Absolutely.
Okay. And punt return also, or?
Yeah, there are going to be a couple that'll be noticeable.
it seems like one of the issues, particularly in I guess both groups, is the blocking is not particularly. Whoever's back there hasn't had a lot of time.
It doesn't matter who's been back there necessarily. It's you've got to do a better job of executing and blocking. That's right.
The field position, the games where you've had good field position, you guys have played pretty well, and the games where it seems like you've struggled more, it's been more of an issue, I think, at times to get that field position. That was a struggle in the Duke game.
The field position game was a killer. I think we averaged starting on our 18-yard line in the game Saturday, and at least in the second half. And they were probably out closer to 45, and that's for turnovers. I mean, that's what causes some of it to be skewed. But even if you go back and you look to start the game, I mean, they run and kick back to the 46-yard line, and they go in and score. And they kick off to us, we take it over on the 19. You know, you start the second half, it's the same thing. You're going to get the ball first. It's not bad enough to get tackled on the 15. You got to hold and get tackled on the 15. And then you're back on the 8. Well, you take it down, flip the field, punt them out on the 5. They come down, flip the field right back, punch you out on the 9. Against good defenses, you're not going to see a whole lot of 92-yard drives and 91-yard drives and those kind of things. You know, so it's a big part of the game.
Prior to the kickoff, does your return guy, does he have options, or is he told, you know?
We've probably given him too many options, truthfully. They've been told if the ball gets back in the end zone not to bring it out. And if it's a high kick or it's in the corner, it's a fair catch. But we need to be more specific with them. We will moving forward.
It seems like some of it's probably freshman eagerness to try and make something happen too.
Well, you know, the last one is on me, right? Because we fumble, they score. I reached over and sent him out the last time I walked down there and said, fair catch it. And he looked at me, I said, fair catch it. And they kick it out of bounds, right? So then we fumble on the next play and they score. And they said, well, you want us to fair catch it again? And I'm like, I don't care. you know, now you're down 14 and it's like, hey, maybe we could hit a play. And so I told him, I didn't tell him to fair catch it. And sure enough, damn if he don't fumble it, you know. So it's like, yeah.
You want him to have the mentality that he can take it back.
He has the mentality.
Yeah.
It's like I keep telling you guys, our guys don't have any lack of that. In fact, they have too much of it.
Is changing the punt returner one of the...
Possibly. Brad's done a really great job since he's been here as a punt returner, catching the ball, but just to shake some stuff up. But like I said, it doesn't matter who's back there. If you don't...
Well, and if you're inside your 20 fielding a punt, that's not great
well,
either.
There's different parts of the game, too.
Yeah.
I mean, Brad still will be back there some, but we may look at other people. We may put 2 guys back there, maybe some different stuff.
Is the blocking issue, is it, you know, not getting the gunners, or is it the inside, coming from the inside most of the time?
It's not the same all the time. That's why it's so frustrating and so hard to fix. If it was the same person all the time or the same position all the time, then you just change the people or you change the thing. So it's like we got to look at the scheme and how we're doing it. 2, you got to look at how you're teaching it. And when you haven't had success, you got to look at all that stuff. And maybe we need to turn into a punt block team as opposed to a punt return team. You know, I mean, there's all those facets that you can look at.
In terms of, I guess, focusing this week on yourselves a little bit, or the past week, do you feel like you got accomplished kind of what you wanted to in terms of some fundamental stuff and that kind of thing?
We spend most of our time on Virginia Tech, quite honestly. I mean, we're not to the point, and we've got a lot of young guys that may play. So we're to the point on repping the game plan. We did not, let the scouts scrimmage and do all that stuff that sometimes you do during an open week. We basically practiced and tried to get ready for Virginia Tech.
Is there anything in particular you put your finger on that has made you successful in the last couple of games against Virginia Tech? It seems like each of those games has been very different in terms of kind of what happened.
I think all our games have been pretty much close.
They've always been
tight.
close, pretty much,
They've all
yeah.
been tight, and we've managed to come out on the right end for the last two. But prior to that, they came out on the right end for 3 or 4 in a row. It's like anytime the games are close, it usually comes down to taking care of the ball, not turning it over, penalties, and not getting killed in special teams. That's usually what most every game will come down to.
I think in the last 2 games that you guys won, I think you had something like 5 plays of 50 yards or more.
Mhm.
Do you
It's kind of the
explain?
nature of the way they play.
Just flowing more and
Well, they create a lot of negative plays. They blitz a lot. They stun a lot. They got a lot of guys close to the line of scrimmage. And so sometimes when you break them, we've hit them on some big pass plays because they were selling out on the run and some of that. So and you've got to hit big plays if people play that way because it's like I said, it's hard. They're not the type of team. Just like most of the teams you play, it's going to be hard to drive that ball 80 yards against them 4 yards at a pop.
right.
Somewhere along the line, you screw up, you miss a read, they miss, something happens. So you have to have some explosive plays.
How much, I know you don't like it in this, but how much has it been a difference not having Lucas and having a guy that gives you maybe a little more of a throwing threat at times if Taquan's struggling? I know.
Well, I think Lucas has a chance to be a good player. Certainly we'd like to have him, but I don't know that, had he been there, he would have probably played some. Cervantes, the guy.
Certainly,
That's who you miss, a guy with some experience that's older and stronger.
Couple more for Coach.
After the injury and Bruce Jordan came in, did you see any improvement in his
I think
game?
Bruce is getting better. Each week and each game, he's trying. He's working at it. I think he's probably getting better.
where do you feel like Kenny's at now?
Kenny Cooper.
Yeah.
I think he's in a good spot. I think it's been good for him, the transition back. He's kind of eased into it. Now he's back as a starting center. That's good.
Let Hazel go back
He's
out.
playing tackle right now.
That was kind of his big moment, I guess, as a freshman when he played up at Virginia Tech, Kenny.
Yeah.
And-
We, all 3 of those guys started as freshmen.
I imagine that had to be kind of an interesting moment for you as a coach. You went into that game with just young guys playing, and especially in the middle of your offense. You have a quarterback and B-back and center.
We had guys hurt, and that's what happens.
How, if you can remember back, like how does that rank as one of the more unlikely ones that you've had where you felt like we're up against it and it's because
I guess I look at it differently than you guys or whatever. I don't think any of the wins are unlikely. I go into every game thinking I'm going to win. It's,
all right.
You just go into them thinking you're going to win. The thing I remember about the game up there 2 years ago was it's probably our best game on defense. We got some interceptions, we played well, and it didn't turn into a don't miss a turn game. It was, first 2 or 3 times we had the ball, we ended up kicking field goals, but the defense would make it hold up, and they get you the ball back. And then I think Matt broke a long run, and Matthew Jordan, and we were up 20-0 at half. Came out and fumbled the very first play of the second half, and they scored. And then we went back to playing. We hit some big plays.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.